Oh, shit. Hey. So a few days after my last video, I put up a poll letting you guys decide what my next video topic would be. And you all chose for me to make a part 2 to my last video. I don't blame you. That video did... Hold on, let me pull this up. Holy shit! Thank you all who watched, liked, and subscribed. That video did incredibly well. And I just wanted to say... I love you.
Hey, you are finally awake.
Skyrim. Everyone at this point has played this game. It's a classic. But doesn't the game just feel really easy sometimes?
Picked a bad time.
So you change to difficulty and... Yeah. What a terribly designed difficulty system. And that is our first bad game mechanic. And oh boy, does a certain company love to copy and paste their horribly designed difficulty system into all of their games. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, let me explain. Skyrim has 6 difficulty settings: Novice, Apprentice, Adept, Expert, Master, and Legendary. And basically, what the game does is on lower difficulty settings, you deal more damage and enemies will deal less to you. But on higher difficulties, you'll deal less damage but the enemies will deal more damage. It's an extremely lazy system, and if you're one of those types of people who enjoys playing games on a higher difficulty from the start, you're shit out of luck. It's basically impossible to play this game on the hardest difficulty from the start of the game without the help of mods. And sometimes, even with maxed endgame gear, with max stats and everything, some fights are still borderline impossible because of the way it scales damage. All Bethesda games have this because they're lazy. I've seen a lot of people say that Bethesda fixed the difficulty system in Fallout 4, when in reality, no, they really didn't. The game still does the same multiplying effect depending on what difficulty you're on. And what they actually do now instead is if you're fighting a group of enemies, most of them you'll be able to take down with no issues. Except there's probably going to be one guy in that group who's a massive bullet sponge that'll probably just 2-tap you. Game difficulty is sometimes a hard thing to get right. Some games have no difficulty settings and have a base difficulty set by the devs. Typically these are tuned pretty well or get improved later on with updates once players can give their feedback. Most Nintendo games are like this. They have the perfect set difficulty for anybody to pick up the game and play. It's hard and challenging when it needs to be, but pretty easy and moderate the rest of the time. But most games typically follow the standard 3 to 4 settings. You know, easy, medium, hard, and sometimes very hard or veteran like the COD titles. In my experience, when a game typically has the 4 difficulty settings, typically medium and hard are the most well balanced, while the easy setting is just too easy, and the hardest setting just feels like a slog of OP enemies. And in the case of older CODs, they just kill you in like 3 hits or spam you with grenades.
Clear every corner of this grenade! Miller! Throw it back!
But this varies game to game. Let me know what games you think have the best or worst difficulty settings. And none of that, oh, I wish Dark Souls had an easy mode stuff. You know what's something every PC gamer agrees with no matter what? Every game launcher besides Steam sucks. And that's the next terrible thing. Proprietary game launchers. Yeah, I know, this isn't exactly a gaming feature or mechanic, but it's gaming adjacent. Also, shut up! It's my video. It's my video. Do you remember that weird time period a few years back where it seemed like every major game developer tried to put their newest game on their own game launcher? Yeah, those were dark times. Thankfully, most have failed and shut down. Or in some cases, the devs have moved to making their launcher more of a secondary account hub. You know, kind of like the Rockstar launcher or the infamous Ubisoft Connect. You can still buy their games, DLC, even microtransactions through Steam, but you need to install their launcher and make an account to really do anything. But of course, they always have their issues. Ubisoft Connect fucking breaks half the time, because instead of just pressing play on Steam and the game launching like normal, when you press play on Steam, it then launches the Ubisoft Connect launcher, verifies all your shit, and then finally launches the game, and this entire process takes forever. So I'm editing this right now, and at this point I was trying to get footage of Siege not connecting to the Ubisoft servers correctly, but at the same time I got stuck in an infinite loop of it trying to tell me to go into offline mode, me selecting offline mode, and then it just telling me to go into offline mode again. So I think the punchline to my joke is still relevant here. Wow, Ubisoft, no wonder you're a failing company. Honestly, in my opinion, the only good game launchers anymore are Steam and GOG. I would include Battle.net, but now that COD and Overwatch are on Steam, I really don't see a point. Just move World of Warcraft over or make its own launcher. I would also add the Epic Game Launcher to that list, however, that thing's terrible. It has basically no features besides being a store and a Fortnite launcher. Like, who's actually buying games on Epic over Steam? The only features are it being a store and you being able to have friends on it. Other than that, nothing. No achievements. Quick editing note, I didn't know Epic had achievements until recently because I don't buy games on here. No community hubs. No place like the Steam Workshop for the potential of installing mods.
Go fuck yourself!
You can review games once you've owned them and played them for at least 2 hours, according to Epic Games themselves. But it's only a 1 out of 5 star system. There's no text option available. There is no writing your own actual review. There are written reviews, but they're from game journalists, and who cares what they have to say? Steam has almost 80,000 player written reviews for Stalker 2. That's right, 80,000. Yet Epic just has this crappy 1 out of 5 star system. And I think once you leave your rating, you can't change it later. That doesn't sound very consumer friendly to me. There's just so many reasons to not buy games on Epic over Steam. It's just barren, even years after its release. It sucks. And that is why Steam will forever be the GOAT.
That's what I'm talking about! That's why he's the MVP! That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
You can't beat it, and everyone who has tried has failed. I know that monopolies are bad, but I'd rather let Valve have the monopoly over a shitty company like EA or Ubisoft, or God forbid Activision, because Valve has actually shown that they care about the consumer, and I bet most of you would agree with that. The next mechanic is something that everyone hates, or at least I see that there's a growing disapproval of, and that's FOMO, or the fear of missing out. Every multiplayer game nowadays has it, and for those who don't know what FOMO is, basically it's how every multiplayer game nowadays has a battle pass or limited time events, and once those passes and events end, you cannot get the items ever again. Lots of people are getting tired of this, especially in the case of Fortnite. Fortnite has such a large amount of skins that most players will never be able to get. Hell, Fortnite's Battle Royale mode came out in 2017. Its first Battle Pass skins were these skins. If you did not play back in 2017, you have absolutely no way of obtaining these skins again. Even today, 8 years later, you still cannot get these skins. Fortnite is such an old game at this point that children born when it was in its prime are now at the age that they can start playing. And they have no way of obtaining skins like Darth Vader or the good Deadpool skin. Their only option is to buy the store reskins. Sometimes these are better, but still, gatekeeping skins released years ago is just dumb. Thankfully, more and more people are getting sick of this stuff and just want to have the ability to buy skins whenever. In my opinion, every game should adopt the Battle Pass style of Halo Infinite. And basically what Halo Infinite does is its Battle Passes never expire. Once they released, you can always go back and buy them. Yes, the game still has its limited time event skins, but at least you're not missing out on all of these items because you didn't play during a certain time. Over the course of 2024, this topic was debated a lot in the Fortnite community because they made a lot of changes to how their Battle Pass system works. And as of now, any Battle Pass that comes out will have its items put on the market 18 months later. Some people really don't like this, and honestly, shut the fuck up. And for the love of God, stop with the limited time shop shit. Let me buy what I want when I want. This is another thing Halo Infinite does. If you're looking at your weapons and you're like, oh, that looks pretty cool, you can just buy it whenever you want. You don't have to wait for it to be in a shop rotation. You don't have to check Twitter to make sure these guys can leak it early for you. You just buy it. Stop with the limited time shop stuff. It's stupid. You know what? This video is kind of boring. But you know what else is even more boring? How every game nowadays is just filled with the never-ending grind. Fortnite, Call of Duty, GTA, World of Warcraft, Destiny 2. Hell, even single-player games like Skyrim, Fallout, Cyberpunk, Borderlands, Red Dead Redemption, even fucking Minecraft, all require grinding to get anything major done. You ever just take a step back and go, what happened? Almost every multiplayer game anymore has a battle pass that requires at least 50 hours of grinding to max it out. And now, even every single player game has some sort of leveling system or survival element that inevitably ends up with you just needing to take the time out of your day to go and grind a bunch of stuff. I'm fine with grinding out battle passes, but some of them just take so long. I just lose interest fast. I don't want to be grinding pass after pass after pass. And I know that's what they want. They want me to keep playing. But it gets boring. I don't want to keep doing it. Like, just give me a few weeks to chill between them. Siege gives you about 3 months to finish each battle pass. And I think that is a very generous amount of time. Especially because Siege's battle pass takes maybe 2 or 3 weeks of non-stop grinding to finish. You can easily hop on, grind 2 or 3 tiers a day, maybe take a week off, and still have plenty of time before time runs out. But in games like GTA and World of Warcraft, have so much more worse grinds, dude. It's ridiculous. Unless you just want to spam KO, have fun getting money. It took me nearly 12 hours of grinding cargo runs just to get 2 million. There are items in GTA 5 worth 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 million, by the way. And for World of Warcraft, let's just say, if you want to keep up, prepare to have a second full-time job. Single player games are another level of grind. Instead of grinding for skins you'll never use, you gotta grind for stuff like money or XP. And sometimes, these grinds can be just as bad as multiplayer grinds. But unlike with multiplayer games, you can decide to stop and go and take a break and do something else. With multiplayer, that's all there is to do. Typically once I finish a battle pass,
We do not care.
I lose all interest in the game. I like having something to do, just having a goal of some kind. Just playing Fortnite for the hell of it isn't fun to me, unless I'm playing with friends. But even then, I'll probably get bored after a while. But what's the moral of this story? Call of Duty sucks now? So this last one is a mechanic that I personally hate, and it's bad local map design, and Bethesda just sucks at designing them. All of their games feature local maps, and they all just suck. I cannot use them. If you're not in a single story building, dungeon, whatever, they're useless. You cannot tell where you're going. If they were able to display layers or something, they would be much easier to read. Also, why do they have these little faded out areas to show where you haven't been? That's like 5 feet over there. Just mark it on the map. This shit's annoying as fuck. I've put thousands of hours across all Bethesda games, and the only time I ever used the local map is when I accidentally hit the button when opening the normal map. They're just so bad, dude. Alright, we're almost done. But since I don't want to make a part 3 to this video, I'm just going to list the rest of the bad mechanics I have written down. Being able to take damage during non-cancelable animations. Fucking NPC collision. Turn this shit off now. Scripted win-losses regardless of gameplay. Losing money when you die. Sequels that reset the character skills. Not being able to have multiple saves. Fake character choices that don't actually matter. Online requirements for single-player games, multiplayer achievements in single-player games, missable items, forced stealth in non-stealth games, removing good features in sequels, super aggro enemies, and finally, not being able to pause the game. Thank you all for watching, and remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. It would mean a lot to me. I'm just about to hit 600 subscribers. If we can get past that, I would be extremely thankful. Remember to check the description and look at where to follow me. Consider joining the Discord where you can maybe see previews of videos I'm working on. Again, thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.